Okay, go ahead, Chair.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jolly Hatchett. This is the CPOC Commissioners meeting, and it is hereby called to order at 6:07 p.m. I am the chair, and I will facilitate this meeting. But first, I would like to call roll. Jolly Hatchett, present. Commissioner Hassan Bennett, absent at this time. Commissioner John Solomon,
present.
thank you. Commissioner Melly DeBose,
Commissioner
absent.
DeBose communicated that she wouldn't be able to attend. Thanks.
Right, so she's absent at this time. Commissioner Rosaura Thomas,
Present.
Commissioner Hakeem P.I., absent at this time. All right, at this point, we do not have a quorum, so we won't conduct any official business that was on the scheduled agenda. However, I would like for us to be able to move through with the other remaining items that doesn't require a quorum. The first item that we will get into will be the Executive Director report.
Good evening, everybody. We're going to come up with some slides in about a second or two here. All right, welcome everybody. This is the CPOC Interim Executive Director's Report. It's February 6, 2024. Next slide, please. All right, now this first slide, I want to say that just from the top, all of these slides will be available online. They should be online already, but if they're not, they'll be there by tomorrow morning. So if there's anything that you see that you want to remember or learn more of or check back with, you can do that very easily by visiting our website. First, we're the Citizens Police Oversight Commission, and our mission is to oversee and investigate the conduct, policies, and practices of the Philadelphia Police Department. Now, currently, we receive complaints against complaints of police misconduct. We audit and monitor investigations and disciplinary processes. We conduct oversight of police shootings. We analyze police data, and we do policy reports and recommendations. And we engage in outreach and training to try to bring the community and the police department closer together. Next slide, please. All right, so now this is the first month of the new year, and we received 14 complaints during that time. Last year, we received a total of 143 complaints. And these charts show the demographic data from the 2024 complaints as reported by the complainants. Next slide.
And I'll just go ahead and just add, the slides have been dropped in the chat if anyone wants to open it up and follow along with us.
Thanks, T. All right, this is our complaint map. Now remember, this is just for January. So if it looks like no one in all parts of the city or we're not getting anything from other places, it's the beginning of the year. It's only the first 30 days. So you'll see that the darker red and the regular red are where we're getting the most, and then it gets lighter as we spin out. So you'll see a lot of them. It's North Philly, lower Northeast, some Northwest Philly. Next slide, please. All right, so now we've gotten some questions recently about complaints themselves and what it means for us to take them. So we wanted to take a minute and give a slide or two to kind of talk through that process and really talk about why, as a conduit for complaints, we're a great conduit and what we do differently than, say, the police department or if you're going to complain somewhere else. All right, so now in general, when we receive a complaint, we conduct an intake interview. Now we receive these complaints. Really, this is us being a yes agency, right? So now we'll take your complaint by phone, by email, in person, by mail. We'll even come out to see you if you're having trouble leaving the house. We want to make sure that we are as accommodating as humanly possible in getting these complaints where they need to go. What we're going to do there is we're going to try to gather as much information as possible, the who, what, where, when, why. Also, one of the primary reasons for coming to us is the interview, right? Because what we're going to do is drill down on the allegation, translate that into a real complaint against police. One of the things that we noticed back years ago and still occurs is that you go to a police station, a lot of times you're going to get a form, right? And you're supposed to handwrite this thing out A lot of times people are upset, they've experienced trauma, and it makes it a little bit difficult to sort of translate these complaints into actionable complaints. And that's one of the best reasons to come to CPOC to do your complaint, because it really gives us the opportunity to drill down and translate these things into something that's actionable by internal affairs. Next slide. All right, so now after we get it to internal affairs, we have the ability in some cases to monitor the case in real time. Now, we do that if the complainant is nervous about going up for an interview, wants someone to be present with them during an interview. Those are all things that we can do for any resident that makes a complaint. When we monitor a case, we have the ability to ask questions in the interview. We also are there, we can be present for the interview with the officer against whom the allegation has been made, and also have the ability to ask questions in that forum as well. Now, what happens on our end in general, we log the complaint into our case management system. We send it along with any documentation or evidence via email. And the other part is that we get an initial look at the case, right? So if it's a verbal abuse or lack of service, we can flag it for possible mediation, which is a faster outcome, and is a great program we're trying to get off the ground. And you should check out our website to see more about it. It's a great way for lower level complaints to be resolved against police. So now once internal affairs gets the complaint, an investigator should contact the complainant and excuse me, my throat's a little scratchy tonight. And the internal affairs investigator will contact them for an interview with them. Next slide. All right, our auditing and monitoring unit, we're continuing to conduct regular audits of complaints against police. Now that's an examination of the completed investigation for best practices and data retrieval. They're also continuing the body-worn camera work, and we actually had a pretty recent success. We solidified access to the 7548s for the body-worn camera audit project, and this is actually going to streamline our work greatly. We have a newly released blog post that gives a status update on the body-worn camera audit project, which you should all check out. And new staff have access to videos, and we'll begin helping with the body-worn camera audit project in the next week or two. So we're staffing up, and it's going to make us faster and more effective. Next slide, please. All right, CPOC monitors internal affairs investigations currently, but we're working on a draft model policy to formalize the process. It includes the roles and responsibilities of both us and the PPD, possible outcomes, and how CPOC will give feedback on investigations, and goals for reporting data about monitoring. We're still in the developmental stage of this program, so you know, we're hoping that it's going to be a great thing for reform moving forward. The unit is currently working with the investigations unit to monitor 2 cases at internal affairs while the process is being developed. So we're not waiting for this formal process to be developed to continue monitoring cases, just so everyone knows service is still being provided while we formalize the process. Next slide. All right, is CPOC doing investigations? So CPOC is not currently performing independent individual officer misconduct investigations. Before we can do that, we need to staff up. We need to formalize the process with PPD and reach an agreement with the police union and the collective bargaining agreement. Those things are very formal processes, and we'll be working on it. Now, in the interim, as we develop these things, we are doing other things. Our investigative capacity is building up. We already respond to the scene of police shootings. We conduct expanded monitoring of high-profile incidents. But we're also developing an investigative unit. Like I said at the last meeting, we're going to be hiring some more investigators, and we're going to be doing other kinds of investigations in order to develop our investigative capacity and enhance our impact in Philadelphia. And that is incident investigations, right? Like an NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board investigation. We're going to be doing those, which break apart an incident to try to find better outcomes. And we'll also be doing after action reports of completed incidents to find basically how to improve outcomes and systems so the residents of Philadelphia get better service. Next slide, please. In January, there were 2 police shootings. This total includes every time a PPD officer discharges their firearm, intentionally or accidentally. It excludes we were supposed to fix this slide last time and we didn't. I apologize for that. It excludes animal shootings and officer suicides. We have, however, developed a website to update the public on police shootings shortly after they occur. It went live today. You should check it out. It includes a summary. It's pretty good, but it's only the beginning. Our data reporting is going to expand greatly over the year. And this is the first step, but it's pretty cool and everyone should check it out. Next
I
slide,
can
please.
drop the link into the chat if people would like to go to the website
That would be wonderful.
and check it out. I'll do that now. If you like, I can also pull it on screen and just let people see what the screen looks like.
Yeah,
Or
go for it.
keep going. Okay. I'm going to put it in the chat now. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull this over. Please let me know if you can see it.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
So this is what it looks
So
like.
check that link out. And that's sort of what that's what it looks like. And you can click on it and you can click on a summary of the events as well.
Right.
All right, we can go to the next slide there, T. All right, so now these are graphics that show where in the city these 2 shootings occurred. Both cases are actively being investigated. And we continue to monitor both in real time. Next one. All right, our policy unit. As hopefully most of you know, we've added a few new policy analysts that are in the process of training and onboarding right now. And we're continuing to work on data reporting for the agency. The policy unit is going to be posting monthly data snapshots to our website. We met with OIT and we have a 2-month tentative timeline for adding this feature. That's the second step. Policy unit created an interactive map of police district and zip codes. Map's still in development. One of our policy analysts completed the GIS, Geographic Information System training to enhance the agency's data reporting and visualizations. The team's also analyzing information from PBI charging data to include in our annual report, which should be out very soon. Next slide. All right, so the policy unit is working with their collaborative project for PPD language access services and meeting with the Office of Immigrant Affairs. We've had meetings with stakeholders at Love Shouldn't Hurt Philadelphia, at Salvation Army's New Day Drop-In Center, Meraki, Philadelphia, who assists in running the police-assisted diversion program throughout the city, and Dawn's Place, which is a holistic care center for women recovering from exploitation and trafficking. All of this research is going to inform CPOC's work as it relates to city's Kensington initiatives, including identifying areas for increased support, resources, and policy reforms within PPD. All right, we also attended the Anti-Trafficking Coalition meeting and an internal status report to the PPD regarding civilian police complaint mediation program. It's a 9-month update that suggests collaborative improvements to the pilot program. Basically, we're trying to do more outreach to the community to try to get more interest in resolving lower level complaints through mediation. Next slide, please.
And Anthony, I'd just like to acknowledge Commissioner Hakeem PA has joined us.
Oh, great. Welcome, Hakeem. All right, then this is our outreach and training unit. And I think we all see Talia here today, Julian, Damon, and our newest addition, Jeriana Hernandez, who's going to be more formally introduced at the end of this. She is our new bilingual community outreach and constituent services specialist. All right, and here's some of the things that we've been doing aside from adding Jeriana. We attended a human trafficking task force meeting with the policy team and met with the Office of Immigrant Affairs to improve language access to residents utilizing police services. Next slide. All right, we conducted the outreach and training unit conducted 3 trainings for new staff, participated in the MLK Day of Service, Youth Senior Game Day at the Kearsley Rehab and Nursing Home. And we attended the PA Asian American Law Enforcement Association first annual gala. This is to promote diversity in law enforcement leadership and to engage the Philadelphia Asian American community to work in partnership with law enforcement. Next slide. All right, so now the next big thing that's coming up February 20th is our community town hall. Now in it, we're going to have our very own commissioner, Elder Melanie DuBose, and it's going to be a discussion with Black women about their experience working in law enforcement and police oversight. It should be a great panel. We have a very distinguished group of guests. Please check it out. We have there's links to the flyer on our website. It's going to be a great night. So even if you can't attend, anybody that's here, please tell people in your networks about our town hall, and hopefully we'll get as many people as possible to come see it. It should be a great discussion. All right, T. All right, so now our final slide. This is the Public Police Board of Inquiry Complaints Against Police public hearings. They are February 22nd and February 27th. Now, this is essentially a forum. It's basically court for misconduct allegations for police officers. So when there's an allegation, they go to this police board of inquiry. Evidence is presented, and an adjudication panel on which CPOC sits as a voting member determines the outcome of the event. So if you want to learn more about how misconduct is addressed in the Philadelphia Police Department, and what's going on there, come down and give it a look. And if you have any questions, you can contact us, and we can hopefully try to answer those questions and help you get through security with no problems. All right, I think that concludes the executive director's report. We're going to have Talia and Catherine say a few words in follow-up and do some of our staff introductions. So take it away, guys.
Okay, Catherine, I'm going to share my screen again.
Okay, good evening, everyone. In light of recent events, the CPOC staff wanted to share a little bit of information with you, and we're going to be putting out these graphics on social media because there's been a lot of discussion around how how police treat people in various communities around the city. Police conduct should be evaluated, as we know, to see if it's criminal on one hand, or to see if it violates PPD policy on the other hand. But although some conduct is legal, it very much may feel abusive or harassing to an individual or a community. We wanted to share some definitions of police terms so that you're familiar with their legal definitions as a starting place for a conversation about how police should be doing their job. It's important for the daily experience of the people who are to be part of that conversation about how to make our city safer while also respecting people's rights. And I apologize, Talia, I am on my phone, so I'm looking at a very small version right now. But we wanted to go through the thank you so much. That helps me a lot, actually. So we wanted to go through the different levels of suspicion, which are involved in generally stops, frisks, and arrests. And there will be some more terms to find on the next slide. And I want to encourage people to, if you have questions about any of these things or want to have follow-up discussions around them, we would really welcome that kind of thing. So this is a scale. At the top, you can see if a police officer has no suspicion about an individual person, there's an explanation over there for what they can do. They can come up to you and ask you questions. They can interact with you. And a question you can ask is, am I free to leave? That'll tell you if you're still in that no suspicion category, or if the officer believes that they do have reasonable suspicion, which is the first level that they would need in order to interact with you. And as you can see, for reasonable suspicion, if there are specific articulable facts showing that an individual person is committing a crime or has or will commit a crime, a police officer can stop that person. And so a stop is a physical interaction with the police, or it doesn't have to be them grabbing you, but it is, you are not free to leave that encounter with them. And also, if the police believe that the person is armed or dangerous, they can frisk the person. So same level of proof there. They're both reasonable suspicion, but a police officer cannot frisk you unless they believe that you are armed or dangerous at the level of reasonable suspicion. And we just wanted to clarify that if the officer only has reasonable suspicion, you do not have to consent to a search of your person. We'll talk a little more in the next slide about what is a frisk and what is a search. The next level up of suspicion is when an officer has probable cause to believe that a crime has occurred again. So if the police are aware of facts and circumstances based on their own observations or trustworthy information that a person has or will commit a crime, they can arrest and search that person. A search can be done with probable cause if you're not being arrested, and a search is almost always done after you are arrested before you're transported. And then just a little bit about Miranda there at the bottom. So that's implicated in the last statement under probable cause. You do not have to talk to the police. You can request a lawyer. And the police must read you your Miranda rights only if you are being interrogated in custody. So there's I think in popular media, we often see that police always read Miranda, but they're required to do it when they are going to interrogate somebody. Okay, let's go to the next one, Talia. Thank you. And this will be even faster. So just to explain, a frisk is when there is a pat down of the exterior of somebody's person or clothing, and it should be for weapons only, not for any other items. So as I mentioned, the police would need to have a reasonable suspicion or greater that a person is armed or dangerous in order to do a frisk. And then a search is when the police reach inside a person's clothing, pockets, or a bag, or enter any kind of container that the person may have. This can be a search for weapons, something illegal, evidence of a crime, and that has to be supported by a higher level of suspicion, probable cause, and that does always take place after a person is arrested. According to directives, anytime somebody's going to be transported in a police vehicle, most likely the police are going to check them in this way before they're transported and get inside the vehicle. And just we also wanted to add, frisks and searches can be conducted on either a person or a vehicle. Okay.
Okay, and we're just going to move on and talk a little bit about filming the police. As we all know, we live in a society where everyone has a camera phone, and oftentimes when people see the police out in the public, people like to film if they see something that, you know, they think they're concerned about, or just in general, people like to film. So this is just a little bit of information to keep in mind. So you have the First Amendment right to record police interactions, and that's either as a bystander or if you are directly involved in any police contact. You can record in public places or private places if you are allowed to be there. So obviously, if the police are in your home, you are allowed to film that encounter. You cannot interfere with the police. They may ask you to step back or move to another location. But if you feel that instruction is improper, you can file a complaint about that. You can post or share videos of the police. And if you believe that your recording may contain important evidence, you may want to reach out to the police department, or you can contact CPOC to share that information with us. And finally, posting or sharing recordings of police interactions online. Again, social media is very popular, especially Instagram. There are quite a few pages that are very popular where people, you know, post police interactions. And we just wanted to just give you some context and some things to keep in mind when you come across posts or if you're sharing them yourself. So after notable public safety incidents or officer-involved shootings, as many of us know, it's not uncommon to see images or videos posted or shared on social media by civilians who may have witnessed the incident. Often this content may show only one perspective of the incident. So it's important to keep in mind that things such as vantage point, where the camera is kind of showing, body positioning of whoever may be recording, when they started recording, when they ended it, all of that should be taken into account. And so one of the best ways we think to improve community trust is to be as open and transparent as possible with the public. So we urge the police department and the district attorney's office to share official footage that they have of public safety incidents and officer involved shootings as soon as they are available, so that people have the official version of events that they can compare with maybe some videos or images that civilians have posted online, so that the community can get the full context of an incident that may have occurred. And as always, just to reiterate, if anyone feels that their rights have been violated, whether it comes to what they're posting or sharing, filming, being frisked or searched, they can always reach out to us to file a complaint or to get more information, and our contact information is here. We're going to post this on our social media pages. So anyone, if you want to share it with your friends, family, your kids, whoever, it's just important things to keep in mind. Okay, I think I'm going to turn it back over to our chair, Chairman Hatchett.
All right, try that again. Thank you for that, Talia. That was actually pretty helpful and useful. I don't know if you posted it already and can share the link with people, or they'll be able to go to the website to view it later.
They can go to, I'll post it on our social media pages, and we can post it on our website
Social media.
as
Social
well.
media is fine.
Okay.
Thank you for that. I don't know. Well, one
We
thing I would
did
like
have
to
one hand raised. I think they may have put their hand down. Our Commissioner Thomas would like to.
Commissioner Thomas, you're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. First, I want to emphasize that the meeting that Talia had presented during domestic violence. And I wanted to emphasize with the community that getting a restraining order for normal people, and I guess that's the best way I can put it, is it can be quite a lot more easier for them than for women who are survivors of police officer involved in domestic violence. These two organizations, Women Against Abuse and the Domestic Violence Unit, were very forthcoming with me, and they said that it is very complex. It is very difficult for any survivor of police involved in domestic violence. I wanted to share that. One of the questions, have any of our staff been in internal affairs?
I think most staff has been to internal affairs.
Okay, so your staff has been in the interviews with survivors.
I couldn't say specifically because I don't have where we've been in front of me, but when we monitor cases, we are in there with the complainant regardless of what the complaint is.
Okay, so here's the next thing. I want to be in those interviews.
At this time, Commissioner
Yeah.
Thomas, I think we're going a little bit off, veering away from the agenda. I think that's a great
Okay.
thing
I do
for you to do as
appreciate
a
that,
commissioner.
Chairman Jolly.
And I think the interim executive director can point you in the right direction. And or Talia, I know she's been instrumental in doing some outward facing things. But if you have anything else regarding what was posted about the police interactions or anything on the executive director's report.
Yes. And that was only about internal affairs, but thank you, Chairman Jolly. I appreciate that. I'm done.
Give me a call tomorrow, Rosar. We can talk that through.
That would be great. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Were there any other questions or comments in the chat so far based on what has been going over?
Nothing in the chat, and I did not see any hands raised, but I'm going to check again. And of course, if anyone wants to raise their hand now or
Feel free. And Talia, while you do that, I'm just going to take this time to handle a little bit of housekeeping. Since Commissioner PA did join, I will ask someone to move for the approval of tonight's agenda. We did not have a quorum at the beginning.
Are you asking me to approve, Chair? My apologies.
No, I'm asking any commissioner, other than myself to move to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Chairman Jolly, I approve to move forward with the agenda.
Thank you. Can someone second that?
I can second.
Thank you. Is anyone opposed? Hearing nothing. All commissioners in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, everyone. The agenda has been approved for tonight's meeting. Also with the modification that Commissioner PA is present. I would also like to note that there were several executive sessions that were that took place with the HR recruiting team that the commissioners are working with in the search for the executive director. CPOC commissioners met in executive session on January 17th, January 25th, and January 29th of 2024 related to personnel and or employment matters, specifically relating to the search for the executive director of the Citizens Police Oversight Commission. Thank you. At this time, I will just open the floor up for general questions, comments, or concerns regarding to the agenda or what has been going over so far. That naturally flowed from the agenda. If there are any questions or comments, put them in the chat. And now just going back to you, Talia, did we get anything?
We didn't get anything, but we still want to do a couple staff introductions, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, so we have Jeriana and I believe Olivia are with us this evening. I'm going to bring them on screen.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
good evening.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jeriana Hernandez, she, her pronouns. I am part of the outreach team. I am bilingual, so I do speak Spanish. This is my third week on the team, and I'm very excited to be here. I think the mission of the agency is really important, and I'm glad that I'm going to be a part of positive police reform, and I'm excited to be here. So I wanted to thank everybody on the staff who's been very welcoming, and I'm excited to, meet the commissioners one day in person.
Okay. Bienvenido, señorita Hernández.
Gracias.
De nada, mi amor, de nada.
Hey all, I am Olivia Fortunato. I'm really excited to be here. I don't even think words can express that I'm just eager for the work that CPOC's been doing. I think this is my second meeting with you all, and I echo everything Jeriana said, but I just appreciate every feedback that everybody's offered and wise words from staff. Just very grateful to be here. So thank you all.
We're very grateful to have both of you.
Thank you both.
Welcome, señorita Fortunato.
Any other introductions?
I don't think so. I'll check again to see if any other new staff.
I'll do one, last call for any questions or comments. Feel free to
Okay.
place them in the chat or raise your hand. But it's always good to end on a high note.
Agreed.
Nothing.
No raised hands, nothing in the chat,
All
Chairman.
right. I will move to adjourn at
Wait a minute,
6:40.
we've got something just popped up and. Okay, I don't know if everybody can see, but the question is, hope all is well with you all. As of today, has the investigation for the young man killed by police the other week been closed?
Well, the short answer to that is no. It is still early in the investigation, and it will probably be some time. It is definitely not close.
Okay. And
Any other questions or follow-up based on that from anyone?
no.
Sorry for interrupting, and I didn't raise my hand. Will we hear from our Director of Investigation, Mr. Jameson, anytime soon?
He is, and we are available to you at any time in executive session, but the information derived from the investigation is legally protected and we can't disclose it publicly. But
Well, yes, I
but
understand that,
for
but
you
I was-
guys, yeah, anytime you want to jump on a Teams call, let us know. We'll walk
Okay,
through anything
will
we have.
do. Thank
But-
you.
Commissioner Thomas, was that in reference to the investigation?
I know he really can't share, but so much with us with the investigation, but I
But I was
wanted
just asking,
to,
right, generally, it was
Yeah.
your question in reference to the
Yeah.
investigation?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that if there are certain or specific things you're interested in, you know,
Yes.
we can come together as a group to determine what information we want and the form in which we want to try to get that information. And we
I
can
would
take it from
greatly
there.
appreciate that. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. Any other questions or anything, Talia? Are you saying anything?
I don't see anything.
Okay. Can a commissioner move to adjourn this meeting at 6:43 p.m.?
Okay, I'm sorry. Another
A
question.
commission. Oh, okay.
Okay, would you like to go ahead and close, or can I read the
No, you read the question.
Okay, so this one is from the same person and it says, "Thank you. How long is this process for investigations? We've all seen the video."
Well, what I'll say is the answer is it depends, right? So some investigations take 12 hours, some take 12 months. It varies greatly depending on the nature and volume of information. And the only thing I'll say about the video is while video evidence is informative, they are only a piece of evidence. So that there's one small piece of a very large puzzle, right? So it's how long the answer is kind of, and I know this is not a terribly satisfying answer, is that it takes as long as it takes. We do hope for a fast resolution, but basically we want a good investigation rather than a fast one. So I'd rather one that was thorough and got to the right answer, even if it takes a little longer, but hopefully we don't have to wait too long.
Okay.
I'll just pause for a minute just to see if there's any follow-up based on that. Until you just let me know.
There looks like there is some follow-up.
I don't 100% understand the question for those who
I don't
can't.
either.
Okay,
Is it-
oh, everyone can see this. Okay.
I can see it. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't understand the question. I'm sorry.
Okay, would we like to ask the person to maybe expound, or are we gonna move on?
Well, I mean, I don't know if everyone else can see it. For those who can't, the question is it any way speaking on the situation after they retrieved the firearm and understood my friend? Thank you. I'm not quite sure what that question is. If there's, from the individual who put the question out there, if there's any way you can clarify what exactly you're referring to the extent possible, we'll try to provide an answer. But to me, it does not seem like a clear question. Or
I
I'll just
think
say,
he wanted to elaborate on this.
well, I don't
Chairman.
know.
I apologize.
Yeah, I don't know, and I'm not going to assume. But I'll hang out for a moment to see if there's any way that they can maybe clarify the question.
Okay, would you like them to type it in the chat, or would you like them to ask directly?
It's whatever they're comfortable with.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I will.
I'll just give it a minute or two till you just let me know.
Okay. ICP is the screening, so just waiting a moment if they want to unmute and ask their question. If not, we'll move along.
All right. Well, if there's any follow-up to that question, or if anyone else wants to ask a question, now will be the time, because otherwise, still not until you stop
Nothing.
me anytime. All right. Otherwise, I will ask.
Oh, wait, okay. Well, we can all see. Sorry, my last question is CPOC funded by the police or the city?
The city of Philadelphia, taxpayers.
Correct. We are separate and distinct by the police. We are totally independent of city government. We're run by a commission, and no city employee oversees us. It is the commissioners that oversee us.
All right. Thank you.
All right. We'll ask for a commissioner to move to adjourn now at 6:46 p.m.
I move to adjourn.
Can someone second?
I second.
Anyone opposed? Good night, everyone. Talia, thank you.
Be
Nope.
safe. Have a great night.
Come back on the 20th, please, for our
Yes, please.
Black Herstory panel.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.